Anxiety is the silent storm that whispers fear into your heart, steals your peace, and clouds your faith. But what if I told you that the Bible, God's very word, holds the weapons to fight back and win? Today, we're diving deep into 10 powerful Bible verses that can destroy anxiety, and we'll uncover real biblical stories of people who faced overwhelming fear and came out victorious through faith. Stick around till the end, because the last verse we'll explore is the ultimate key to unlocking divine peace that no storm can shake. 1. Philippians 4, verse 6 to 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This verse is the blueprint for conquering anxiety. It doesn't just say, "Don't worry." It tells us how not to worry by praying, being thankful, and trusting God. Think about Daniel in the lion's den. He lived under constant threat in Babylon, pressured to bow to idols, surrounded by enemies, and thrown into a den of lions simply for praying. Yet Daniel didn't panic. He prayed. His calm came from a heart anchored in God, and as a result, he experienced peace, even surrounded by predators. When your mind feels like a den of lions, pray like Daniel. 2. Psalm 55, verse 22. Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. Anxiety thrives when we try to carry life's weight on our own. This verse reminds us, you were never meant to carry it alone. Consider David, the writer of this psalm. He was hunted by King Saul, betrayed by friends, and overwhelmed with leadership responsibilities. Yet instead of breaking down, David learned to cast his burdens through prayer and worship. Each psalm he wrote was a release of his anxiety into God's hands. When you feel like breaking down, do what David did. Lay your burdens down before God. 3. Isaiah 41, verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Anxiety often whispers, "You're alone." But this verse shouts back, "No, you're not." When Joshua took over leadership from Moses, he faced enormous pressure, leading millions into the promised land, facing fortified cities and giants. But God's promise was simple. I am with you. Joshua stepped forward in faith, not because he was fearless, but because he knew who walked beside him. So, you don't need to have all the strength. You just need to trust the one who holds your hand. 4. Matthew 6, verse 34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Anxiety multiplies when we live in tomorrow instead of today. Jesus reminds us, focus on the present because grace is given one day at a time. Think of the Israelites in the wilderness. God provided manna daily. If they tried to store extra for tomorrow, it spoiled. The message was clear. Trust me daily. Just like them, when we focus on one day at a time, we find fresh strength each morning. Don't let tomorrow's what-ifs steal today's peace. God will meet you in tomorrow when you get there. 5. 1 Peter 5, verse 7. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. This isn't just an invitation, it's a declaration of God's tenderness. The Creator of the universe doesn't just tolerate you, He cares deeply for you. Look at Elijah, after the showdown on Mount Carmel. Even after a mighty victory, fear gripped him when Jezebel threatened his life. He ran into the wilderness, exhausted and hopeless. But God didn't scold him. He sent an angel to feed him and let him rest. That's what divine care looks like: gentle, personal, restoring. God doesn't just want to remove your anxiety. He wants to restore your soul. 6. John 14, verse 27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Worldly peace depends on circumstances. Christ's peace transcends them. When everything around you falls apart, His peace holds you together. Remember Jesus calming the storm. The disciples panicked, certain they were about to die. But Jesus stood up and spoke, "Peace, be still." The wind and waves obeyed. The same Jesus who calmed the sea can calm your mind. Peace isn't the absence of storms. It's the presence of Christ in the boat. When anxiety rages, remember who commands the storm. 7. Proverbs 12, verse 25. Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. Anxiety isolates, but encouragement uplifts. This verse shows that words can heal emotional wounds. When Moses doubted his calling, he was anxious about speaking to Pharaoh. But God sent Aaron, his brother, to support him and speak on his behalf. That partnership gave Moses the courage to move forward. Sometimes, your breakthrough from anxiety comes through community, through someone who reminds you who you are in God. Don't battle anxiety in silence. Let godly people speak life into your weary heart. 8. Psalm 34, verse 4. I sought the Lord, and He answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Fear loses power when we bring it into God's presence. David didn't say, "He removed all my problems." He said, "He delivered me from fear." David wrote this verse while hiding in a cave from King Saul, his life in danger, his future uncertain. But in that cave, he found peace, not because his situation changed, but because his focus changed. He sought God, and God delivered his heart from panic. God may not remove every storm immediately, but He will remove fear's control over you. 9. Romans 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Anxiety feeds on uncertainty. What if this goes wrong? But this verse gives the ultimate reassurance. Nothing is wasted with God. Even the pain has purpose. Joseph was betrayed, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for crimes he didn't commit. For years, he must have wondered if God had forgotten him. But later, Joseph stood as the second most powerful man in Egypt, saving nations from famine. What once caused him anxiety became the stage for God's plan. When anxiety whispers, "This is the end," remember, God is still writing the story. 10. Psalm 23, verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. This verse is not about avoiding dark valleys. It's about finding courage within them. Anxiety loses its grip when we realize that God doesn't just watch from above. He walks beside us. Think of Jesus in Gethsemane. Even He, the Son of God, felt deep anguish. He prayed, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow." But He didn't run from it. He faced it with prayer and surrendered to God's will. That surrender gave Him strength to endure the cross and win victory for all. You may walk through valleys, but you will not walk alone. The battle is in the mind, but the victory is in the Word. Anxiety isn't a sign that your faith is weak. It's a signal that you need to refocus on the one who never fails. Each of these 10 verses is more than ink on paper. They're weapons of spiritual warfare. Every time fear attacks, you can fight back with truth. Remember Daniel's calm in the den, David's songs in hiding, Elijah's restoration in the wilderness, Joshua's courage in the face of giants, and Jesus' peace in the storm. They didn't win because they were fearless. They won because they trusted the one greater than fear. If you've been battling anxiety, take a moment, right now, and breathe. Speak one of these verses out loud. Let it fill your heart. Let it remind you that you are not alone, you are not forgotten, and you are deeply loved. And if this message touched you, share it with someone who might be fighting silent battles. Because sometimes one verse can save someone's peace. Stay blessed, stay peaceful, and remember, when anxiety comes knocking, answer it with faith.